the meadow had been the site of a communal victory garden. Now it was one of Daisy's favorite settings, particularly at this golden hour of the day, when time hovered between afternoon and evening. The meadow was suffused in the last pink and amber of the sun's rays. This moment, for Andrea and Brian, was perfect. The bride led the way, walking slightly ahead of him with her chin held aloft. The groom's posture was protective, yet he exuded joy from every angle of his body. The breeze kicked up her gown so that the shadows connected the two of them like a delicate dark web, the unrehearsed drama of the movement coinciding with the firing of the camera shutter. Checking the viewfinder of her camera, Daisy suspected this might be an iconic shot for this couple. Except she zoomed in on a small spot on the horizon. "Damn," she muttered. "What?" Zack asked, leaning to look over her shoulder.
"The Fitchman's dog Jake got loose again."
There he was in high-resolution glory, silhouetted against the sweeping sky, taking a crap. "Classic," Zack remarked, and went back to coiling his cables and organizing his gear for the wedding reception. Daisy pushed a button to tag the photo for later retouching.
"Ready?"
she asked Zack. "Time to party on," he said, and they followed the bride and groom along the lakeshore path to the main pavilion of Camp Cayuga, where the reception would take place. The couple made a pit stop to freshen up for their grand entrance, and Daisy prepared to document the festivities. She had liked the bride from the start, and she had always loved the setting of Camp Cayuga. The serene lakeside resort was a historic landmark on Willow Lake, and it belonged to Daisy's grandparents. Tucked into the wildest corner of Ulster County near the town of Avalon, Camp Cayuga had been founded as a retreat for the elite of New York City, a place where the well-heeled could escape the steamy summer heat. These days, the camp had been transformed into a luxurious resort by Daisy's cousin Olivia. Last year, the reinvented retreat had been featured as a destination wedding venue on IamTheBeholder.com, and bookings were steady. To Daisy, Camp Cayuga was more than a beautiful setting. She'd spent some of her life's most joyous and most painful moments here, and the entire landscape had shaped her aesthetic as a photographer. The firm she'd worked for since finishing college, Wendela's Wedding Wonders, was a local institution, and Daisy was grateful for the job. The work was steady, the hours crazy, and the income adequate, if not lucrative. There would never be a shortage of people wanting to get married. And okay, she did dream of branching out from weddings and portraits because her deepest love was something she termed narrative nature photography. At heart, she was a storyteller. Her photos offered intimate glimpses through her lens. She captured the fragile, ephemeral nature of the world around her with pictures that haunted her heart, arousing deep emotions from the simple grace of trees dipping their branches in the water, the abundance of a green-shadowed forest in springtime, the epic shape of granite crags above a gorge. In college, she'd always been under deadline pressure because her subjects would not be rushed. Tadpoles transforming themselves, a fawn finding its way through a meadow, the stillness of a heron as it waited in the marshy shallows for its next meal. Photography was where she'd found her artist's voice and a passion for the work. The fascination had begun with the gift of a Kodak camera on her 8th birthday. She had captured a shot of her Grandma Bellamy learning to hula hoop that day, experiencing a moment of such satisfaction that it felt like a benediction. It was a moment that would never again be repeated. She had frozen it forever in time and memory, and despite the fact that it featured her own grandmother, there was something universal in the shot that anyone could understand. That was the moment she'd discovered the power of photography. She often wished she had more time to produce fine art with her camera, but even fine artists, and their small sons, had to eat. For a single mom, steady work trumped high art every time. And the photo snob seemed determined to overlook a key fact. In the midst of a wedding, opportunities abounded for finding a transcendent moment. A good photographer simply knew where to look for them and how to capture them. At a wedding, you could find people at their most real. The same story played out in endless ways and infinite variety, and for Daisy, it held a kind of fascination. She was intrigued by the mysterious alchemy that drew a couple together and compelled them to embark on